Hello my loves and welcome back to Love What Luck. I must start because I've been dying to talk to you about this, Wuthering Heights. I've been so excited to talk to you about this. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I went in completely blind to this story, and if you want to do the same, then just skip past. Give me, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes just to get this off my chest. Okay, so I knew it was going to be a love story, obviously, and I kind of guessed it was going to be some sort of like forbidden love story. But I thought it was going to be a love story all the same. When the film started, in those opening credits, the opening scene, I had a pang in my stomach and I was like, this isn't going to be a happy ending. Like, I just knew it. And knowing that the whole way through the film was horrible, really. Honestly, guys, I'm not gonna lie, it was such a strange experience because I loved the film, but I also hated how it made me feel. So, okay, let me back up. Firstly, Jacob Elordi. I've mentioned this man on the pod before. You know how I feel about him. This man could simply do anything he wanted to me. I thought to myself, right, I've obviously seen the clips. I thought to myself, I know I fancy Jacob Elordi, but he's got long hair and a beard. That's really like not my vibe. So I'm probably not going to fancy him that much in the film, but that's okay. I'm going to like the story. The man turned around, the wind was blowing the curls in his face. I thought, my God, he's done it to me again. He's done it to me even with long hair, sideburns and a beard. Like, I still would. The man is just so hot. First, he's just so tall, and I actually need to Google how tall he is because to me, he seems like the tallest man in the world. He seems taller than any basketball player. Like, there's just something about him that he feels 15 foot tall in the best way. Like, he's not lanky. This podcast is basically just me objectifying. Oh my God, he's 28. Oh, I feel disgusted with myself. Oh, he's 28. Why? Curse this. Curse this. I fancy a younger man. Oh my God, he was born 26th of June 1997. Oh. 26th of June though, and I'm 26th July. So I think that connects us somehow. Okay, Jacob Elordi height. He's 6'5". He's 6'5". To put into context, my boyfriend's 6'4". There is something about Jacob Elordi that he feels double the size of my boyfriend. This is no shade to Matt. I just have to delve into this firstly. Firstly, he's just so tall and he has these large hands which are in proportion to all of his body. There's nothing wrong with them. But he has these hands, and there's a scene where Margot Robbie is lying on the floor. And Jacob Elordi puts his hands, or I should say Heathcliff, puts his hands over her face. His hand covers her entire face. I have never seen anything like it. In my day-to-day life, I don't want any contact with anybody on my face. If a man, a partner, anybody really goes to touch my face when I've got makeup on, I'm like Regina George in Mean Girls. I'm like, lip gloss. Like, I can't handle it. It is a bit germy. Jacob Elordi, and that scene, absolutely, I'd have his hands all over my face. Now I've learned he's 28, I'm disgusted with myself. Anyway, there's also another scene, right? And I've obviously now been deep in the interview. I'm basically deep on Wuthering Heights TikTok now, and it fucks me over because every time I hear that damn music or I hear a clip of it saying, I wait every day and every night, it makes me feel physically sick. Guys, honestly, if you haven't seen this film, I'm afraid that I'm going to like push it up so much. I don't know if I had such an intense reaction because I went in completely blind. I didn't know the story. I've never read the book. I hate any spoilers because I love surprises. So I literally went in with like absolutely no expectation other than like a little love story. So it really did affect me. I'm bouncing around all over the place, but basically, I'm deep in the interviews, right? And there's this scene in it, which I just thought was like one of the most romantic things I've ever seen, where it's raining and Margot Robbie looks up at him and Heathcliff puts his hands over her and shields the rain from her face like that. And obviously, they're so big, they're like a sun visor on top of their head. And she said that wasn't in the script and it was because Jacob Elordi did it to her in real life. As if that woman hasn't taken enough from us already. No, I love Margot Robbie, but to experience that in real life, I mean, God help Margot Robbie's husband. He must be a very, very secure and confident man to sit back and watch those interviews and also watch the film, because they were Heathcliff and Kathy to me. Like, they were fully together and in love. I will say I've spoken about this briefly to Amelia, and she is really not on the same vibe as me. She thinks the love is toxic. She's like, I can't believe that you... She basically just felt so differently about it to me, which I don't know what that says about me, but for me it was just like the feeling, like I said, from that opening scene, the feeling that I felt all the way through it was just like uncomfortable. And I saw an interview with Emerald Fennell, who's the director, and she said that was what she wanted. She didn't want people to think that it was a love story. She wanted people like to feel uneasy. And I was like, oh, that's absolutely what you did. When it finished, guys, obviously I was sobbing. I went to the cinema to watch with my mother, by the way. Sex scenes galore. Don't know if I'd recommend it. Obviously, you've all met Adele by now. It's fine with us, but yeah... You know, there's a lot of sex scenes in it. And as she was crying as well, I was sobbing and I actually couldn't talk. Like, we came out and she was like, that was just stunning, wasn't it? And I was like, I had no words. I felt sick to my stomach. I felt so upset by the whole thing. I felt traumatized. I could barely talk. When I got to the car, I tried to talk to her about it. I was crying still. Like, it's so fucked. Like, I'm actually not okay. And then, like, when I came out of it, I was like, I loved it, I think. But I'm also never going to see that again. I was like, that was just so traumatizing for me that I'm never going to watch it again. Guys, a week has passed. All I want to do is see it again. I might go to the cinema to see it again. Today I ordered the book. I've been listening to the playlist every day. I'm actually just not okay. I guess this is how it feels to be a man, to like actually objectify somebody and have like sick thoughts about them. Because that's me. That's me with Heathcliff. It's just the whole thing. There's a scene, and this is a spoiler. There's a scene, and this is a spoiler. Give me 30 seconds, fast forward, right? But there's a scene where when Kathy is younger, she hides eggs under Heathcliff's bed and he sits on them and they crack. And there's a scene where, I can't. Tell me I'm not going to start crying. There's a scene where Kathy has said yes to being married. She's moved into the new house with Linton, I think his name is. And she sits on the bed and she hears a crack. And she knows that Heathcliff has been there and he's put the eggs under the bed for her. And it's like, it's so weird because any other film, you'd be so happy to see that. But the way it's done, I've got full body chills. I've actually got goosebumps. The way it's done is when that happens, you're like, oh God, no, like he's back. You just know that it's not going to end well. And you almost like, you want them to be together, but because of the circumstances, you almost want them to just leave each other alone because you know that they can't be together and it's just never going to end well. Sick to my stomach. Made me absolutely sick to my stomach. My TikTok is full of Jacob Elordi edits now, like a complete pervert. It's actually vile and things need to change. But do you know what? I needed to get it out of my chest. I needed it and I feel a lot better for it. I am going to read the book. I've heard that the language is really difficult to read. Two of my friends told me how hard it is. I'm like, do you have no faith in me that I'll be able to read this? But I think that my obsession is just going to carry me through. Also, he's got a northern accent, like, which I thought was going to be really off-putting. He's like, Kathy. Thought he was going to be off-putting. No. If anyone was going to make me like a northern accent, it wasn't going to be my northern boyfriend. It was going to be Jacob Elordi, the Australian actor, acting as Heathcliff. Let's just get that straight. Oh, God. Right. Let's get into it. Oh, I actually did see this. I saw this on TikTok, right? And this is very Wuthering Heights in that scene with the eggs. She basically posted this photo and she said, my favourite headache. And she said, how my ex broke contact after 3 years. And he sent her flowers. And on the envelope he said, Dear Anna, pick up the damn phone. Oh. I fear that would work on me. And it is what it is. I'm not going to feel ashamed in that, but pick up the damn phone. Oh, so hot. So hot. So naturally I was thinking I need to hear stories of how your ex came back into your life. I'd love to know how he came back into your life and like won you over. But equally we'll get into, you know, how your ex tried to come back into your life and you said no. So that's going to be my question of the week on Instagram. I've actually got a couple of my own stories to share, so I'm excited for this one. I might have done this like a few years ago, but I feel like we're ready to delve into this one again. So if you've got a story about how your ex came back into your life, has your ex put eggs in your bed? That for me now, if ever I go through a breakup, sneak into my house and put some eggs in my bed. Unfortunately, that's what would work with me. Oh, I also saw a video of this girl and her boyfriend had put mini eggs in her bed. Like, that's where we're at now. Like, as I said that out loud, I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we pining over somebody putting chocolate in the bed now? Because it's not okay, is it? I retract it, but I love the sentiment. Anyway, come and chat to me. You can either send me an email, sadie@loveotluck.com, or send me a DM at sadiemaltby at loveotluck. I actually feel so much lighter since getting that off my chest. I really, really do. I haven't been able to deep dive that with anybody at the same level. Please, obviously, come and let me know your thoughts. Obviously, I could talk about this for days and days and days. So if you've seen the film, come and chat to me. Okay, so being on the theme this week of very intense love stories, I found this thread which I absolutely need to read out. And a girl found notes that her grandfather left her grandmother, like handwritten love notes, and she had kept them in a book and her granddaughter found them. My main conclusion from the film was like, bring back yearning. Yearning is long gone in this generation. Like, Kathy would actually have a heart attack to understand what the men are like these days. And I don't think it's changed from a woman's perspective. Like, we still want to be yearned after, and it's gone. It's long gone, and we need to bring it back. We need to bring it back, so let's try and get this back into the mainstream, okay? So here's some letters we've got. Good morning, my sweetheart. Hope you slept well and you are not feeling so tired today. I hope to be home dinner time to give you a great big kiss. Take care and don't work too hard. Don't work too hard. Yes, Grandpa. Thank you. Somebody that's finally on my level. But somebody tell me to take it easy on my day. Absolutely. Okay, this one. This is the note that he left her after her mother passed away. My darling, try not to be sad. Mummy has gone to a wonderful place where there is no suffering, no heartache, no pain. She is now in peace with herself and she will not be alone. She will have Papa and Sandra close to her. So darling, don't distress yourself too much. Just be thankful that she has not suffered in this life. Love you. I'm going to need a moment. Okay. And she's writing them back to him as well, so here we go. My dearest darling, thank you for doing the washing up for me. I hope you don't feel too tired this morning and that you slept well. Don't work too hard today, sweetheart, and hope you won't get home too late, my darling. Oh, I miss you so much when you're not here. Oh my God. Take care of yourself, whatever transport you go with. I love you lots. I think men still feel this. I do. Or they should, otherwise they shouldn't be with somebody. But why aren't they telling us? And why aren't we telling them, to be fair? I will say that obviously this will be the only time they speak. Like in some of the messages, he's like, I'll try and call you lunchtime. So I think probably texting has affected the yearning a little bit because we're in constant contact with each other. I suppose like modern day yearning is like, saw this and thought of you. Because that is really sweet. Or like a dick pic. Or, you know. What else could be modern day yearning? Calling you and saying, I'm at the shop. What do you want? Do you want anything? This morning, my boyfriend texts me, do you want a matcha? Absolutely, yes, I do. modern day earning. Maybe it's not so bad out there, guys. Maybe it's not so bad. But I do feel like this day and age, people are not so open with their feelings. Firstly, I think it's two things. I think the first thing is there's more of an embarrassment. People are not as open with their feelings. People get hurt a lot. You're very aware of how people perceive certain things, because there's TikTok trends like making fun of certain people, or you can write something on Hinge and then people are posting it online. I think there's a little bit more vulnerability because it kind of feels like you're always open to so much judgment now. It's like everything is less private. So I think that's it. And the second thing is, people are not as grateful, I don't think, for love, because it feels like there's so much out there because of apps, because of you go out and you meet in people, you're in work with different people, whereas back then the men mostly went to work with the men. I don't even know if that's true, but it just feels right. And you mostly, you're in your town, you meet somebody and you're like, wow, you're just so glad to have them, and there's not that many other people around, and I just think it makes everyone feel a little bit more special. Whereas now, you could break up with somebody, you can be on a date in an hour. If you really, really wanted to, you could literally break up with someone and be in somebody else's bed within an hour. I just think that idea has made people seem so disposable, even though love isn't easy to come by, and that is still what most of us want. So I don't know why people are going around acting like it's disposable. And I also think there's a big thing of somebody does something once, now you get rid of them. Whereas back then, if somebody hurt somebody, I just feel like there was more of a thing where you fight to stay with that person, and you're just a little bit more honest with how you feel, generally. Okay, so I'm back from LA, went over to see Amelia. In conclusion, sun makes everything better. Was really lucky with the weather out there. It was 28 degrees. Went to LA, and then went to Palm Springs for the weekend, which is such a fun place, by the way. It was basically full of gays and retirees. And it is such a vibe. I said I was staying in the Trixie Motel. It was just really, really happy, good vibes. And we wanted to karaoke one night, right? So we found a karaoke bar. We headed there. Immediately we knew, we were we must be in one of the only straight bars in Palm Springs. But we put our names down for karaoke. We sang Chapel Roan Pink Pony Club. Felt very on theme for the trip and the place, and we were having the best time. Imagine you're singing, you with your best friend, you're having lots of fun, yeah? We go back to the table, it's coming towards the end of the night, and these two obviously straight men walk in, unfortunately come over and talk to us. And I always find it worse when there's one-on-one, because inevitably, because you're not speaking in a group, inevitably the conversation's going to die here, which is basically what happened. Conversation died here, I'm looking over, she's in conversation. So then I start conversation again, and then Amelia said the same thing was happening to her. She would look over, we'd still be talking, so then she'd be after, keep talking. Now bear in mind, me and Amelia are both in relationships, right? So even if we weren't, by the way, wouldn't have been interested in these men, just not the vibe, right? The man asks me how old I am, which I don't want to be asked that at a bar. I'm sorry, I just don't want to be asked it. Why is it relevant? Why do you need to know how old I am on a Saturday night in Palm Springs? It's not relevant to me, and it shouldn't be relevant to you. Anyway, I tell him, and his follow-up question was, have you got any kids? Sir, I'm a teenager. Of course I haven't got any children. I'm nowhere near old enough to look after a child. What do you mean have I got kids? A teen pregnancy? No. I said, no, I haven't. Firstly, he was the same age. So actually, the first thing was I said how old I was. He was like, oh my God, me too. When's your birthday? He couldn't believe that we were literally exactly the same age, weeks apart, yeah? And then he says to me, have you got any kids? I said, no. Have you? No. Oh, what's your cut-off age? Mate, I'm trying to enjoy the last weekend of my holiday. I don't want to be talking to you about my cut-off age for kids. I'm not having this conversation with my friends. Why? What possibly makes you think I want to talk about this with you? Anyway, being a people pleaser, I continued to entertain her. I said, oh, I don't know, maybe 40. Oh, you haven't got long left then. Sir, back the fuck away from me. I haven't got long left. I've got 6 years for starters. So how is that not long? Secondly, I said, not long. And he was like, well, you know, by the time you meet somebody and, you know, and then you get together. I was like, firstly, you're assuming that I'm single. And Amelia after was like, he's assuming that we're single because he doesn't think like we could ever be out in a bar together if you're in a relationship. I was like, so true. He seemed like the man with that like small town mentality. Secondly, 5 or 6 years. You don't think that's much time to get married and have children? Like, does he know how it works? I could get pregnant with you tonight, maybe. But I won't. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? 6 years, not long. I was like, I literally then at that point, I just went, I'm not talking about this with you in a bar. And from that moment, I couldn't look at him. He's here to my right. I'm staring straight at the bar. I thought, I can't even make eye contact with you. Then he says to me, can I have your Instagram? I'm like, in what world do you think that this is going well enough that we're going to keep in touch? There's just so many things wrong with it because it's like, I wouldn't dream of saying that to a man. Also, I'm not even thinking it. And also, quite frankly, I don't care. I don't care if you never have children. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I actually don't care. So the fact that this is even an issue for you that you're speaking to me about it, just not okay. Also, it took me back to having a conversation like this at a bar when I was 29. And I'm the exact same conversation. And I'm like, you actually would just say it to everyone. And I think, I'm like, did they say it to women to get us riled up? Do they say it because they feel like it's an insecurity for us or something, or it's like a weakness? I just feel like he's never saying that to a man. Like if he's speaking to a 50-year-old man in the bar or 60, whatever, he's never having that conversation or thinking it. So why are you coming on to me and making it an issue, basically? Don't speak to women about their age and fertility on a bar on a night out. And yeah, I would get this annoyed even if I was in my 20s, because it's just like always, do you know what my ex's father used to say to me when we were together? I was about 24, probably 23 when we got together, 23, 24, 25, whatever. He would say to me stuff like, oh, well, you know, you need to start thinking about what you're going to do for work and that now. Excuse me, sir, I've got my whole life to work. Like, why do men feel like they need to put this invisible pressure on and just let me live my life? So, apart from that, we had an absolutely lovely time. Also, I went down Rodeo Drive, like Pretty Woman vibes, loved it. And I don't know if it's because we went down in the week, but that's obviously like a touristy place and obviously a big shopping place. It was so quiet and dead. And I was like, the equivalent of this in London is Bond Street, and Bond Street could never. I was like, how is this so peaceful and quiet? It was just a really nice time, other than that. But that does lead me nicely on to my next story of when I went out to Wales to watch the rugby and how a man almost ruined that night as well. I went to watch the rugby, which, by the way, is such a fun vibe. I've been to watch a few football games. I've spoken about that before. Like the football crowd, not for me. So aggressive, terrifying. Rugby crowd, always good vibes, especially in Cardiff. Like, I just love going to watch a Six Nations game. We're going... Basically, I have to say this story in case somebody saw me. Like, if you saw me, no, you didn't, right? But I just need to clear the air. I'm waiting at the bar. This man behind me has basically got his head on my shoulder. He's pushing me and pushing me. He's up against me, head on my shoulder. And I was just like, you would not be doing this to a boy. If my boyfriend was here, you're not doing that. So why are you doing it to me? Anyway, he muzzles his way into the bar. And one thing about me, I need justice to be served. If there's any injustice going on, it really riles me up in any situation. Not even just with me, but like pushing in front of someone in the queue. I'm British. That just really riles me up, especially when it's a busy queue like that. I really respect the queue system, okay? So he comes next to me and I say to him, you do know I'm going to get served before you, yeah? I've been here before you. I'm going to get served before you. Oh, we'll see about that. He starts mouthing off. It escalated. He was throwing insults about. And guys, I don't know what it is, right? But after a few drinks, there's something that comes over me where I think I am so strong. I've never been in a fight in my life. Hell and horror. God, but also got to remember, I would never be like this with a girl, can I just say? Only ever with a man. But there's something that comes over me where I genuinely feel like I could lift this man off his feet above my head and launch him over the bar. And I'm being so serious with that. Like, in my world, in that time, when he's in my face, I'm so angry. I was literally like, it's embarrassing. I was literally like, I will actually go outside and fight you. I was like, let's go at it. I don't know what the fuck got into me. My my friends low-key been diagnosed with ADHD, and one of the symptoms is can't handle emotions such as sadness and anger. I was like, me, can't handle anger. Anyway, even the man then next to me also started to have a go at him. He was like, what are you doing? Because this guy, to be fair, was just really pissed. And he was just like pushing up on everybody. And he was winding people up. Like, he was just winding people up. Anyway, I got served first, which was my big thing. And then after I got served, I went to the dance floor. A completely cool, calm, collected then. Because I'm like, justice was served. I got my drink. The boys come up after me, which to my surprise, because I'm like, how were you not petrified of me? Anyway, he follows me onto the dance floor. So the girls are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, actually don't care anymore. Now I've got my drink. We ended up making up. I gave him a hug. I was like, whatever. His friend was like, what the hell is happening? He was apologising for his friend because he was drunk and stuff. But, oh, they just, some are great, but you always get one. Not all men, but always one. That just like really wind you up. And that was just like 2 back-to-back nights out I had. And I was like, if they were you know, my heart rate would have stayed calm, I'm sure. Okay, and to now reinstate some faith back into us, I've got a nice love story for us this week. Here we go. I met my husband at a traffic light. I was a passenger in my sister's car. He pulled up in the lane next to me to make a right-hand turn, so he was already looking in my direction. I noticed him and was smiling because I thought he was cute. He noticed me smiling. We rolled down our windows. We still argue who rolled down theirs first. He said, you have a beautiful smile, call me, and then shouted out his number. I immediately put the number in my phone and kind of forgot about it for a week, to be honest. Well, I ended up calling him. We talked on the phone for a few months and ended up finding out we had a bunch of mutual friends. Our sisters actually hated each other in school, lol. We both lived nearby, so we agreed he'd pick me up for our first date. It went horribly, but I gave him another chance, and now here we are. Been together for almost 14 years, married for almost 7, and have 3 children and 2 dogs. Is that not the cutest meet cute? I love a meet cute, and I do feel like that's what everybody, well, not everybody, but that's what lots of people are striving for. My boots on the ground journalism with my single gals. We were talking about this on the rugby, actually. Abby was just like, dating apps are just not the same as they were even in COVID. And we were talking about it, and I was saying I think it's because obviously in COVID, more people were on their phones, like that's a given. But also I feel like before COVID, dating apps weren't really a thing. Like I didn't go on one until, well, COVID time, like 2021. So when we were like kind of out of it, then we were back in. So like that time. And I think before that, they were always viewed as really serious. It was kind of like, oh my God, if you go on a dating app, honestly, it used to be like, you're obviously desperate to meet somebody. Like, I just think they had quite a bad stigma. So when I went on it, it was because, like, when I went on them in 2021, I was like, I want a date and I want to meet people. So I'm going to go on there. And I feel like that's why everybody who else was on there was thinking. Whereas then over time, when that became so normalised, dating apps now, like they're not special. People are not going on there just to meet somebody. Obviously some people are, and people are definitely still meeting each other on dating apps, but I think where it used to be like the majority of people, say on Hinge, would be on there to find a partner, and then like majority of people on Tinder, say, just wanted to hook up. I feel like that was always the the idea behind them, wasn't it? Now I just think it's like a big crossover and everyone's on everything. They're not all on there with good intentions, and I think that spoils it for other people then. Girls as well, like you see TikToks of like somebody, they've liked each other's photos and they messaging them, and then they just leave in silly voice notes and filming it on TikTok, and it's just like everything's become a little bit of a joke. And whilst that's like good and fun in one way, people are having fun with dating, I do feel like it's difficult then for people that actually do want to find somebody and are signing up to a dating app like with really good intentions. But I do still think dating apps are good, and I think especially now people are not going out as much, because of dating apps people are not going over and talking to each other as much when they're out. I think dating apps, like, thank God they're about, because at the minute that's how half the people meet somebody. But yeah, I just think lots of us are still romantics at heart, and I just love a meet cute. I love a meat cute. Anyway, guys, I think I'll wrap up there. I've spoken a lot and ranted a lot at you. I just wanted to catch up with you this week because I definitely missed chatting to you. As always, I'm asking for your feedback. If you want me to chat about anything, or if there's something on your mind, then come and let me know. I'm Sadie at lovewhatluck.com if you want to share a story as well, or send me a DM. I'm at Sadie Malfi at lovewhatluck. Also, please remember to subscribe and follow wherever you're watching. And thank you so much, and I'll speak to you next week.